not from this world. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice. And we get what Jesus is talking about, right? Or we think we do. It is hard to describe, though. It's getting over $1,000 in gift cards for Share Christmas by the middle of November. It's filling out your pledge card in the first week that they are available. It's waiting for an x-ray at the orthopedist's office and having a total stranger demand that they get you a chair rather than standing hunched over your walker. Okay, that might just be me. If I went around this room, I bet I could get everyone to tell me one story where they caught a glimpse of the kingdom not from this world, where they heard the truth in someone's voice that has nothing to do with reliability and dependableness. But there's always a part of me that wonders if my interpretation of kingdom or truth is really something that Jesus would recognize. Jesus says he is the way and the truth and the life. Does that include making other people get a sore-legged woman a chair? Or is that just being nice? So we look at this story today. Now, Pilate had an uncompromising nature and was a bully. Aside from what we know in the Bible, he was such a hard man that he shows up in the secular histories from this period. He was such a tyrant that he manages to get recalled to Rome because he's gotten so much of Palestine in an uproar. Given that Roman procurators, which is what he was, were installed with an army to keep rebellious populations under control, you have to figure he was a pretty tough piece of work if he managed to get himself recalled. But even from the text alone, we know he preferred to use an iron fist. He's the head of the Jewish state, and when asked a question about why he's considering a death sentence for Jesus, he replies, "I am not a Jew, am I?" He is completely uninterested in learning anything about the people he's governed. Pilate is the guy with the army. Pilate is the guy with the most power. He's the one that is the most in control. And yet he's completely controlled by fear. The Jewish authorities want Jesus dead, and they want Pilate to be the one to kill him. Pilate proclaims Jesus not guilty multiple times, but he still orders his death on the cross. Pilate's terrified of losing control of the situation in Jerusalem, even with the soldiers he has at his disposal. So he caves in, and he orders the death of an innocent man to keep that fear under control. And in this story, here's Jesus, rounded up by the Jewish authorities, handed over to Pilate. Pilate asks Jesus if he's the king of the Jews, and Jesus responds, "Do you ask this on your own, or did others tell you about me?" Jesus opens the door for Pilate to be transparent, to share how it is to be Pilate, to speak the truth of Pilate's own life. Now, after this point, it will be mobs and beatings and the cross. But here, Jesus makes an offer to perhaps the last person on earth he will speak to one-on-one. Jesus makes an offer to Pilate. Everyone who belongs to the truth listens to my voice. Even the great bully Pilate is offered a place in the flock of the Good Shepherd, the Good Shepherding King. The only other place where listening and voice are used together is back in chapter 10 when Jesus speaks of the Good Shepherd, the image from the Old Testament about what the true kings of Israel are supposed to be. The sheep who listen to Jesus' voice are led into the abundant life. They are given rest. They are given shelter from the storm. That's Jesus' offer. It's always his offer. But we have to face the truth about our own lives. Throughout all of John's gospel, Jesus has enabled people to face the truth about themselves, about their relationships, about their faith, and the world in which they live. And now Jesus is offering that grace to Pilate. Now Jesus is inviting Pilate to experience another kind of kingdom while living in fact, while leading a corner of the kingdom of this world. But to do that, Pilate has to face the truth. He has to face the reality that he operates in a carefully maintained world of illusion. He may have the truths, but he has nowhere near enough if Jerusalem decides to rebel. He may be in charge of Palestine, but if the Jewish authorities complain to Rome, he may not be in charge of anything. Truth is always threatening, especially when we are following someone who expects us to challenge the erroneous perceptions on which our world is constructed. Now, the very last thing that Pilate wants to do is question the perceptions that he is the guy with the power, that he is the guy who is in control. So he asks this question: what is truth? Pilate makes his decision. He doesn't want to hear the shepherd's voice. He wants to live in the kingdom of this world. Now, you know, standing there, I didn't need that chair outside the x-ray room. I wanted a world where I had a strong and bendy knee, where I could stand easy without a walker. And yet when that nice man, whose name I have no idea and who I would have married in a minute by the time he was done, demanded that they get me a chair, I realized he was right. I wasn't living in a fantasy world where I was, the warrior princess. I was hurting. And I was wasting my strength standing. Once I acknowledged that I was vulnerable, that I needed to sit down, I could let a total stranger take care of me. And I could let a total stranger make a whole bunch of busy people feel guilty about ignoring the reality of how much I was obviously hurting. What is truth? What is the kingdom not of this world? What are they for Jesus? It's not being nice, or it's not only being nice. It's recognizing that the kingdom of this world is hiding people who are vulnerable and who need to be taken care of. It is accepting that there are parts of ourselves that we prefer to hide our vulnerabilities behind. Oh no, I'm fine. I don't need a chair. Jesus is showing that. And he's showing that with Pilate. With Pilate. That's why he's the king. That's That's why I listen to his voice. Jesus is with us in the storm. Jesus gives us rest. Jesus invites us into another kingdom. But we have to face the truth about this kingdom and this world and ourselves. Because when we come to the end of ourselves, there is Jesus inviting us to follow him, to follow the truth to the kingdom.